Now you can hear me. All right, this is Vandal6Actual. We are back here live. It is Friday night, doing things a little different than we've done in the past. Not a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but we are here, and we're going to kick off our weekend this way. And tonight, we're going to do things a little bit different. Since it's a little bit different of a night, we're going to go ahead and try out a different game. It's been probably a month and a half since actually I've done a different game here on than 7 Days to Die here on a live stream. I've done what was it, Death Coming and Surviving the Aftermath. But tonight we're going to jump into Scrap Mechanic. If you've been seeing the tweets coming out on Twitter, you already knew that. But if you are here just because you happen to get invited here or whatever, yeah, we're going to do Scrap Mechanic tonight. I confess I've only got a few hours in the game myself. I wanted to try it out and wanted to see what it was like. I've heard great things about it, and the experience that I've had so far has been a lot of fun. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into that. If you're here, go ahead, say hi. Let me know that you're out there. Look forward to the conversations tonight. Look forward to having a chance to interact with you. But I can only do that if you let me know you're here. So go ahead and start chatting with me, with the other chatters out there, and we're going to go ahead and have ourselves a good time tonight. And I think we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. So, all right, we are at the main game screen now, and there's no audio that I can tell at this point. So, for those of you new to the game here, it is a basically, it's a crafting survival kind of game, but with a different take. It's a little bit more fun and entertaining, and not so much of a horror kind of game as it is just trying to survive. Basically, the plot in the survival mode is you are a farm equipment mechanic on a distant planet, and you are there to fix the farming the farming equipment, and unfortunately the robots that are there that are supposed to help the farming have turned against you, so they are actively trying to kill you, and they actually do a pretty good job of it, and especially early on. But I think tonight we're going to go through, there's 3 different modes, and we're going to go through each one of the different modes. Hey, Kathy and Viking, good to see both of y'all here. So never played Scrap Mechanic either, so it's all good. Yeah. So I've put in maybe 5 or 6 hours over the course of the last 2 days just trying to figure this thing out and see what it was like. But so far I've actually been quite impressed with it. I do like the less than serious graphics, especially after getting into Alpha 19 of 7 Days to Die, and they've basically made that game even more horrifying. The new crawlers and a lot of the new models and everything just they ratcheted up the terror aspect of that pretty good. Okay, so Scrap Mechanic. So this is the main loading screen, or the main menu screen here. You can edit your character just like in most games. They give you some basic options. It's not too terribly in depth or anything, but it is kind of fun to play around with those things. And you know, I don't have that kind of a bushy beard, but I like that kind of beard on the character here, so I went ahead with that. All right, and let's go ahead and get into the different modes here. You've got Challenge, Survival, and Creative. Challenge you can think of kind of as a pseudo tutorial mode. They're kind of walking you through some things, but they don't really teach you all that much. Survival is exactly what it sounds like, and creative, I assume, is exactly what it sounds like. I haven't been in there. I don't know all the different parts that you can use to build things, but they've got plenty of pieces that you can interact with in survival mode that I've already found. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to go ahead and do some of these challenges. I'm going to walk through some that I've already done, and then we'll jump into survival mode for a little while. And then once we spend a little time in survival mode and you guys can see what it's like, then we'll go ahead and go into creative. And I want you to challenge me on something to build. And I'll go ahead and do my best with that. So start thinking of ideas of what you'd like to see me create. Keep in mind, flight, as far as I know, is only as far as the thrusters will carry you before you crash and burn into the ground. So let's try and keep it on the ground, but if it needs to get up in the air or whatever a little bit, we can do that. So yeah, start thinking of ideas that you would like to see me do in creative, and then we will go ahead. And OD, great to see you. Always great to see you here, buddy. All right, so when you go into challenge mode, I've already finished 11 of these challenges, but I'm going to go back and do a couple of the early ones. So you could see kind of the basics of this. And I do hope that there will be more audio than this. I thought there was a little bit of sound at the menu screen here, but I'm not hearing anything at this point. So kind of weird. Oh, there we go. We have audio. All right, so when you go into the first one, you can see down there you've got your tool belt just like you do in 7 days. If you hit B or I, it brings up your backpack. So this is your inventory that you can carry along. And in here, only in here, you can hover over anything in your belt or in your backpack and you can get a little bit of information about it. So you've got a handbook, you've got a lift, a connect tool, a paint tool, which I haven't even bothered to use up to this point, and a welding tool, which I haven't needed to use up to this point. So I'm still not really that familiar with those. But really the most important one here early on is the handbook. This is available to you in here. It's available to you in survival mode, and I assume in creative as well. And this gives you the basics of how to build, but it's not the clearest thing in the world itself. It's mostly pictures, a few words here and there. You got how to play, and then you got some basics on how to build a vehicle. And you can see these blue blocks represent whatever kind of block, because there's wood, there's metal. I assume there are other materials as well. But I'm not going to go too much into the how-to guide here in the building. A lot of this stuff, just read through the book if you want to play it, and it'll make it obvious to you. And you can use the arrows to scroll through and go more in depth here: bearings, lifts, connect tool, seats, and everything. So you can get a little bit more detail here. And I am trying to figure a few things out. Have not been able to figure out how to use a button while sitting in the vehicle. So I'm trying to figure all of that stuff out. So if anybody has actually played this before and you know how to use a button while you're in the vehicle, let me know. That'd be helpful. All right, so we are going to exit out of this, and in the challenge mode, you come across here, you see there is a bin over there. You can use that, interact with it with E. The same thing over here at the computer. The computer basically gives you an overview of the level. And basically what the goal is to get the car from where you're starting, which is that thing inside the purple little box kind of around at the holographic box, to the finish line, which is in the blue box over there. So that's your goal, and you have to build a vehicle that'll do it based off of the obstacles that are available to you. So we're going to back out of there by pressing E again. We come over here, and there's nothing in the chest for us at this point. So there's nothing for us to pick up and do anything with. I've never tried. Can you interact with this guy? No, he's just grading you. He's the judge. He's Judgy McJudgerson. All right, so we've got a basic vehicle here. It has the driver's seat. It's got 4 wheels. It's got a steering wheel, which is by default part of the driver's seat. And it's got an engine back here. Now with the engines, I found this out when I was already several rounds into the tutorials or the challenges, that if you point at that and press E, you could change the amount of power that the engine generates. And let's just go ahead and crank that all the way up so you can see what happens when you have a lightweight vehicle at max power. Pretty much how I expect my daughter's first driving experience to go in 2 years. So when this happens, you can either hit escape, go to reset, and reset will reset your time and reset the vehicle back to somewhere within the bounding box. Or you can press E, go over to the lift, which I have at the slot number 2 right now. And actually I can't do it right now because the vehicle is upside down. So let's go ahead and reset it. And it puts it right back there in the middle. Now, if I have the lift, if that's the active item, excuse me, I can press the left mouse button and it puts the vehicle up on the lift. And from this point, I can get up underneath the vehicle by pressing up. and it raises the vehicle up. I can press the down arrow, it raises it down. Now I can switch tools and still use the up and down arrows to move that. So you don't have to be on the lift the whole time when you're doing it. And then to remove the lift when you're ready, just point at it. When you have the lift selected, point at it, hold down the right mouse button, and it'll remove it. So to get back in, actually, let's not get back in here. Let's change that power back down a little bit. And we'll set it to a little bit above halfway. And now we can go. And it's still doing it. It's a very, very lightweight car. The thing's made out of wood. So I haven't been coughing all day long, and now it's decided that this is the right time to start coughing. So apologize for that. I will do my best through it for the next 2 hours. So let's drop that down even more and get back in here. And there we go. Off to a slower start. Now you use the same steering keys, turn keys that you would use in just about any first-person game. And that's another thing that I want to show you. By the way, you just have to get in the box. It doesn't matter if you're on your roof. It doesn't matter if you barely touch down. As long as you hit it, you hit it. All right. So another thing that I want to show you. So it's in first-person view right now. A really cool thing that they have here. If you use the C and the X keys, C zooms you out into third person, X zooms you in incrementally in third person. So if you want to do it in third person the whole time, you can. I kind of prefer first person. It's just the way that I've always been. I always preferred first person games. Very few third person games. Apologize, I'm just trying to get a cough drop out of here. Very few third person games that I've actually really enjoyed and preferred to play that way, with the possible exceptions of Ghost Recon games and Watch Dogs. About the only ones that I've ever actually preferred to do that way. All right, so we're at a new level here. So we look ahead of us, and it looks pretty simple, except there's an obstacle right there in the middle. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. And yes, there's just a hole in the middle. It's got cones around it. And let's go ahead and see if there's anything in here. Still nothing in here. We don't have to make any modifications to the car. We actually can. If we wanted to go ahead and put this up on the lift, and I like to put it right here. If we wanted to, we could come in here and remove pieces, and you remove pieces by pointing at them and picking them up with the right mouse button, and then you put them in place with the left mouse button. Pretty simple. And we'll get into a little bit more of the drawing commands here and the way that you can kind of build a vehicle a little bit later. But we're going to jump on in here. Style points don't matter. Style points should matter in this game because it gets crazy, some of the things that you can do. Okay, so they've got the power pretty far down in this car. So should be pretty easy. You would think that it would, but it drives like a hastily slapped together go-kart would drive. So so Dragon Age, awesome third person game. I've never played it. I think I talked about this in the last live stream. I've never been a big fan of fantasy type games. Really, the only kind of fantasy one that I ever really enjoyed, and this is really showing my age now, was Dragon Warrior on the original NES. And I got that game by subscribing to Nintendo Power. They had a deal going that if you subscribe to Nintendo Power, you get Dragon Warrior for free. I think it was Christmas of 1990. And I was already 10 years old at that point. And we had asked for a subscription to Nintendo Power, my brother and I, for Christmas. And we got the game with it. And I would imagine that between the two of us, we probably killed somewhere in the vicinity of about 2,000 hours playing that game. But that was about the only fantasy / true role-playing game that I ever really enjoyed. All right, so now we are on level 3. And if we come over here to the fancy schmancy computer, and we take a look, now we have to steer around some obstacles. And we're going to go ahead and do that really quickly here. Because once again, we don't really have to do anything. There's probably nothing in the bin still. Nope. All right. So let's jump on. And like I said, you would think that it would be easy, but the thing drives horribly. So the smallest little change in steering input, and you're doing it with a keyboard as opposed to a controller or even a steering wheel, it's hard. So it was 105 there today. I saw your post earlier. It was 104, 105. Yeah, so funny story about that. So I used to live in Texas, and I still have family who live out there. So when I graduated high school, my dad and stepmom paid for me to go visit my grandparents, my aunt and uncle, and my cousins out there in 1998. And if you look on the record books and you look at the temperature between the middle of June and the end of July, there was I think it was a 41-day stretch where the Dallas, Texas, or the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex area in Texas was at or over 100 degrees. 41 consecutive days. And I just happened to go there right in the middle of it. Oh, it was hot. But I feel your pain, bro. I truly feel your pain. All right, so now we've got something in front of us here. We can't see where we're going. So let's take a look at this. So it's not a jump. I mean, it's going to be a jump. Trust me, it's going to be a jump. But not intended to be a jump, but we got an obstacle, a couple of small obstacles to avoid. But for the most part, if we just keep it straight, we should get to the end here. And just check. Nope, they're still not giving us anything fun here. All right, so it wants us to go with really low power. I say we try to make it with some pretty high power and just see if we can get some good air off of this thing. There we go. Oh, almost landed it. Almost landed it. All right, can we... Oh yeah, we're going to fall into the abyss now. Oh, maybe not. I think we're stuck. No, I just bailed out of the car. Did y'all see the episodes of Jawoodle, not the series he did before Wasteland? I can't remember the name of it now. The series he did before Wasteland, where he kept accidentally bailing out of the gyrocopter in flight. If you haven't seen it, go back and take a look at it. Somewhere in the vicinity of about episode 40, he kept accidentally hitting E and bailing out of the gyrocopter in 7 days. Good stuff. Because we all know that that Josh reacts to things well and properly. So, first game you ever played was Pac Man. I don't remember what the first one that I ever played was. First one ever was an Atari 2600 game. It was probably could have been Pac Man, might have. Which, by the way, Pac Man on the Atari 2600 is a terrible, terrible game. But let's see if we can actually do this backflip and land it this time. That was fun. Nope. But hey, we should get a if you've ever played any of the Carmageddon games, we should get a cunning stunt bonus. Use your imagination on that one. There we go. We made it in even with the overpowered car. All right. So let's see. So you didn't play... Okay. I was wrong. Zelda. And it's funny that you had mentioned Zelda. I actually was saying to my daughter tonight, because something came up in my Twitter timeline. And my daughter's 14. So something came up in my Twitter timeline, and I was showing it to her. It was a picture of somebody had purchased Link to the Past in 2007, had bought it on eBay for $29.99, which is an extremely reasonable price. And this was the Famicom version. This was the Famicom version. This wasn't even the Super Nintendo version. So I was showing it to her, and I was telling her, this is the single greatest video game that's ever been created. In my opinion, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, nothing has ever come close to beating that as far as the quality of every aspect of the game all coming together and really immersing you in it and getting you into the story and getting you emotionally connected to the story. And I know there are a lot of games out there that do that, but everything just came together. And graphically, even on a Super Nintendo 16-bit system, Zelda or Link to the Past was just another step above in all of the color blending and how beautifully done all of the sprites were. And it was that game that really clearly showed how much further ahead the Super Nintendo was than the Sega Genesis graphically. Little trivia for you, actually. The Super Nintendo 16-bit system properly supported 32,768 colors, which is the 16-bit depth of color. The Genesis, although it was a 16-bit system, only supported 512 colors, which basically meant that it was basically a literally exponentially behind the Super Nintendo, and it really showed when you got into games like A Link to the Past and how beautifully done those colors were. So, as far as Zelda games go, though, the original Zelda, A Link to the Past, and the original Game Boy one. I cannot remember which one it was now, but I think it was Link's Awakening. Those three are the only ones that I ever played all the way through. The Adventures of Link, Zelda 2, I know that it today is looked at as one of the best games ever, but at the time it was so drastically different from the other Zelda game, and there were so many platformers out there at that point that it just lost me. I could never get into it. And I've only played a little bit of the stuff after, like from the Wii on. I've only played a little bit here and there, so I don't really have a whole lot of experience with them, so I can't really speak to those. But it's kind of hard to beat A Link to the Past, so it was all downhill from there as far as I was concerned. Okay, so back to this game, back to the modern times. All right, looking at this one, this is starting to look like a Marble Madness run. If you were as much into the original Nintendo as I was, I remember playing Marble Madness. Good Lord, I can't even imagine how many hours my brother and I put into that one, between one of us beating the other and then the other one beating the other one up. It was kind of the pattern that it went by. Same thing with Tecmo Bowl. But so we got to go down the hill and through the little S curves there and across. And I think we're still going with the default vehicle. Nope, we can make changes to it now. So I've got 4 blocks that I can add to this if I want to. It would kind of make sense because we have a front end higher than the rear end here. But I'm not really that worried about it right now. If we have problems with it, we'll go ahead and do it. But I think that actually does affect the steering. It keeps the weight more on the rear wheels, and so it does make the steering a little wonky. So you kind of have to go through this slow. And you do have a clock running. Now, if you want to continue to get better and better and better at these things and driving the vehicle, more power to you. I'm more interested in the building, personally. I'm an engineer, software engineer, but it still counts. All right, so actually, you know what? I think these are the vehicles that I created now that I look at it. Are these the ones that I built? And I'm just going back and revisiting them? Because I don't remember it not letting you build this far in. That might be the case. So I built this one, I think. Looks like something I might have built. I don't know. We'll find out. So, got to go up the hill here, and this is a big steep hill, and it's a hard climb. You don't want a lot of power because you're going to flip the vehicle over backward. And yes, this one is the one that I built. I'm almost certain of it now. But use those big beefy tires. Don't have to have a lot of RPMs on it to get you up the hill. Got to kind of worm your way up a little bit because it's sliding around. But I think we'll get there. So, okay, so I'm a little disappointed that it's doing it this way. I was hoping that it would completely reset the whole thing, and I don't know if there's a way to do that at this point. So we'll just have to see. But okay, so we did beat that one. Let me get in here, and yes, definitely the one absolutely the one that I built for this one. So okay, so there's a restart option. So let's actually go back. And because this is not a good one to do a restart on. This is a really tough one. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were N64 mini hours. See, the N64 is the only Nintendo system, mainstream Nintendo system between the original NES and the Wii that I didn't own. It just came out at a time when my brother and I were just too interested in the Super Nintendo and still had too many games that we really didn't have much time in, and we just continued to roll with that. We never even really asked for an N64. So yeah, I never really got a whole lot of time on that. My cousin had one, and that was about the only time that I played Super Mario World. Tried to get into it. I struggled with it because I mean that was kind of the first open world kind of game like the ones that we're used to now. If you think back about it, I mean that one really was what launched us into these true 3D open world, full immersion kind of games. So, all right, so let's just go ahead and we'll go back into the challenges and we'll reset. Let's say, all right, here's a, which one is this? So, maybe let's do this one. I want you all to see how to do the building on this before we jump into survival, because the building is really the fun part of this. So you can see the car that I have built here. We'll do this once and then we'll build it from scratch. We'll try something different. So basically these are thrusters. These are jet engines, basically. They're not attached to the wheels. But the reason I want to get into this stuff and show you is actually we will go to a different one because I want to be able to show you how to do the attachments and everything. So I think we'll just go back to the original, one of the first ones here. I think, so we have to do some steering, and it was kind of tough on this one, so let's go ahead and do this one. So we got to go through the S-curves on this one, so let's go ahead and restart it. Okay, apparently that's still not the way it works. All right, I'm going to tear the car apart then. You don't lose, oh, well, you don't lose the pieces until you lose the pieces. And I thought I was about to lose that wheel right there. But now I can't pick it. There we go. Okay. For bigger pieces, you have to hold down the right mouse button and it takes it off. And apparently you can, okay, so you can draw. I just found that out tonight watching a video. So basically you can start somewhere and drag and it removes the whole thing. And you can do that when building. I didn't know you could do that when taking things apart as well. So, all right. So now we have nothing. All right, so this is where we're starting. Let's go ahead, throw the lift out. I know this has been terribly exciting for y'all. Don't have any metal blocks, so all I've got is the wood blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and once you put one block out, you can't just freely place a bunch of other blocks. You have to connect once you put that first block out. They have to connect to the other blocks. When I'm doing this so far, I've liked to just kind of build a little platform, a little 4x2 platform here. And that lets me put my seat down. So you can see I need to go that way, and it wants to put the seat down facing that way, which is brilliant. So if you press Q, it'll rotate at 90 degrees on one axis. Some of the blocks you can, pressing Q changes the axis that you're working on. So we don't have a whole lot of stuff to build with on this one. So what we're going to do here is, and I did find a few things out tonight as well, that connecting, you don't have to have a frame around the engine. The engine actually counts as blocks that are connected in there. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. But now I can't build anything on here. So if I want to put wheels on, I do still have to build out around the engine. So I want to get some wheels on this thing. And here's where I was saying you can draw. So we can do that. And let's just, well, it's not letting me around the back right now for some reason. Yeah, because you can see the axis that you can draw on. There's 4 different directions that I can go on that one. And I can rotate the axis. There's 3 different states that can be in. So we just want to be able to draw across there, so we can do that. All right, so there's the back. And let's go ahead and build out the front here a little bit. So bring it to here and put 1 block on each side. And I actually think, now that I think about it, one of the problems that we were having with this one was that it was hard to steer because all the weight was on the rear wheels. So let's go ahead actually and put the engine right here in the front. Oops. I actually probably still needed that on there, yes, because I want the wheels to be there. So would you go across there, put that one there, drop the engine right there, and build out. And let's just see if we can roll with that. And I want to build that just a little further back here because I don't need these on the side yet. I want to build this a little bit further back just to give us a little bit more rearward stability. So I want to bring this out to the back a little bit, and this will give us a little bit more, a little bit more stability. I keep doing that. The whole time playing this game, I accidentally right mouse button click because that's how you place an item in 7 days. Rotate with left mouse button, place with right, and in this one it's remove with right and place with left. So I keep doing it over and over and over again. Let's see. You say you had those Zelda games on GameCube. I loved the GameCube, but I probably spent about 60% of my GameCube time playing Mario Kart Double Dash. Like, I didn't need any other game. I didn't care about any other game. And, oh, by the way, what I just did here, these are bearings. So these are for wheel rotation. And it just dawned on me that this is not quite the way that I want to build this, because I need to be able to steer. So I don't want to build it at that level. I want to be able to kind of do this so that... All right, so we're going to raise this up, and I'm going to put some bearings. Actually, I can't. I've only got 4. Oh, no, I already put them on the back there. So, okay. So we're going to put these right here, and then we're going to put another, and you'll see this animation is going to be different. We're connecting something to the other side of that bearing, so it kind of gives you that swirly animation, and it uses an impact wrench rather than any other kind of tool. And then we can put these bearings back out here on the sides. And now we can attach our wheels just like this. All right, and I'm going to demonstrate a couple of pitfalls here really quick as well. So let's get this down to the ground, almost all the way down, pull the lift out. All right, so now we got to use the connector tool. And this basically says I want to connect these points together. So this is the driver's seat. If you connect that to a bearing that's sitting flat like that, it's going to treat that as essentially this is a steering bearing. So I'm basically, my input is going to rotate that bearing by the direction that the arrows are pointing. So I need to connect the engine, and we want to... The first thing we need to do actually is the driver's seat needs to connect to the engine as well, because you need to be able to control the power. And we're going to make this an all-wheel drive vehicle. So we're going to use the connector tool to connect that engine to all 4 of the wheels. You can see those orange lines do exactly that. Now, here's where the defaults can really screw you up. All right, I'm going to steer to... I'm steering to my left. Wheels just went to the right. Steer to my right, the wheels just went to the left. So what you got to do there is with your connector tool, if you point at that particular bearing and you press the right mouse button, it reverses the rotation. Oops, hit the wrong one. There we go. So now if I turn left, the wheels go left. If I turn right, the wheels go right. All right, all fine and good. Now, what's going on here? Okay, yes. So if I press the gas down, the wheels on either side are rotating opposite of the wheel on the other side of the car from it. That's another one that you got to fix here. So with the connector tool, if you look at this, the wheels on the right side of the car are rolling forward. So what if I press forward, it's going to go forward. Same thing in the back. But on the other side, if I press forward, it's still going clockwise from this perspective, but it's going the other direction. So now we have to rotate the ones on the left side of the vehicle. Always the ones on the left side of the vehicle you got to do this with. All right, so now the vehicle rolls, but it runs really slow. We've already seen how to fix this. So we're going to go ahead and bring up the throttle a little bit here. Get back in the seat, and here we go. So it steers better. The steering input is definitely more sensitive. So that vehicle worked pretty well. Something that we could have done to give it even more stability, and in fact, we're going to go ahead and do that, is, and this is where you have to be able to think through these things like an engineer. You have to be able to see these things from a different perspective. I wanted a long car because I didn't want the car to lift up and flip over on me under power. But the problem that created is that the lateral stability, the side-to-side stability really sucks now. So what we're going to do is, instead of having all of this length at the back of the car, we're gonna use those pieces to build the car wider. So we were there, build it out one there, and we'll see how far we've got to build this out. So I do need to get these pieces back here, and let's see here. So let's bring this out, bring this out, and we have 16 pieces left. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 10 more. I can make this, I believe, 2 blocks wider on each side. This should give us a whole lot more lateral stability. And then we could still go... I did not math properly, I don't think, but we'll see. 1, 2, 3. I have just enough blocks left. All right, so let's get that up on the lift, get those bearings back in place, and put that one in. Just like 7 days, you can use your mouse wheel to move through your tool belt as well. Find that very helpful. I did notice in Alpha 19, they took that out by default. You have to go back and put it in yourself in 7 days. Kind of drove me nuts. Oops. Drove me nuts until I figured out which was the actual command that did it. Anybody else use the scroll wheel in 7 days to move through your tool belt? Find that out? All right. Well, while I'm waiting for an answer on that one. So now we've got a super wide car. So let's go ahead and see how this gets us through the obstacles. All right, we're not going to change the engine power, but I do have to go restore all of my connections because I removed all of those bearings. Now the connections are gone, so I do have to put these all back. And we want the engine to power all of the wheels again. All right. And I got to reverse them again. And notice we just start playing in today. I used the scroll wheel so much on there that I noticed it immediately. And getting back and forth, sorry, I backed away from the microphone there. Getting back and forth between my weapons quickly. Oops, I still have my steering backward too. So let's go ahead and reset one time here. And I did not rotate these. All right, there we go. And here we go. Now let's see how stable this is. Oh, geez. It steers too well now. It doesn't take much input at all. I think I'm going to set a new record, though. Did I? Yes, new record. So that car definitely handled a lot better. All right, we've already been at this for 40 minutes. I don't want to spend any more time on these challenges because I do want to jump over into survival mode. I want to show you what's going on this planet because this is the mode that the game is all about. For as much as I would love to just sit and screw around in creative mode all day, this is really what this game is. So you can see I've got a couple of test games in there. So we're going to start from scratch. Stream 1. There we go. All right. So, like I said, you are on another planet, and you have to kind of restart the farming that's going on there. The thing is, the catch here is that you crash landed on the planet, and we'll see that in just a second. So, as soon as it loads into the game, this part, for some reason, takes a little longer than it seems like it should. And you can hear the audio already starting back there. And there's no video. First time this happened, and it sat here for like a good 10 seconds. And I was just thinking to myself, okay, well, we're going to have to pick a different game for the stream because this is not working. But fortunately, it did eventually pop up. And it should be here in just a second. There we go. Lots of sound. Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And it did this the first time through, too, because apparently I must have held the mouse button down or something, and it got stuck in this mode of swinging my giant sledgehammer. All right, so you can see now, in our inventory, we don't have a handbook in the inventory. You do still have a handbook. It just doesn't take up a slot. Now you have to press H, because now this is the help as opposed to just your handbook on how to do things. So yeah. And definitely, as you're getting into this game, go ahead and read through this. You're doing yourself a huge favor by doing this, and there's also videos you can watch as well. Doing yourself a huge favor. Okay, so we have crash landed on this planet. That used to be our ship. It no longer is. So the ship is still usable to some degree. So it's on fire inside. Don't worry, those fires don't actually consume anything unless you touch them and then you get burned. So over here, we've got a few things. So we've got a little storage chest over here. There's only 4 slots in the chest. You have a microwave that doesn't work, but it can act as one more storage slot. And then you've got beds and everything. And there's a bunch of stuff laying around throughout the world. So look around. If you hold down the right mouse button on something, you can usually, not usually, but a lot of times you can pick it up. So we've got that. We've got a little cactus here, a little plastic cactus or something, and a radio that kind of works, but not well. You can get some music on it. That's all. All right, so I don't want the toilet paper, and this is one of the really nice things about this, is that when you put something down, unlike 7 days, where if you put it down, it throws a bag of it down and eventually it despawns, if you put this down, it stays there. And you come back later and it's still there. So, all right, so back outside. So first things first, when we walk out of there, we see there's a little fence on both sides here. There's a trail over here. This is kind of the first thing. Alpha 17 was trash. I, to a large extent, agree with you. I've been through this on these streams before, but I basically started off playing on console, mishmash of 15 and 16. Okay, but before we get into that, so a couple of things more imminent here. So now we found a pond. We've got a bucket. Hold mouse button down. And while we're down here, if you go down to the water, left mouse button fills up the bucket. All right, switch back over to our hammer. If you see one of these things, whack it with the hammer. It's going to leave you some stuff. 1, 2, sometimes 3. I think maybe even 4 items will come out of one of those. So this is right away kind of getting into the real point of this game. And that is that you've got to do some farming. So you've got bags of seeds sitting around here. You've got bags of soil. And you've got fertilizer. We already picked up water. Let's pick up the rest of these seeds. We got another bucket over here, so we can fill this one up. There is another bucket you can actually access pretty easily, too. And I just threw out the water in the one that I already filled. So, all right, fill them both back up. Come back up here. So these are dirt plots. These are places where you can plant seeds. There are some already out here. You can also switch over to your bags of soil, those 2 green ones down there in the belt right now. You can, just like 7 days, things will only stack up to a certain point, so you can only hold so many of these. So you go ahead and you put it out. I have no idea what force build is. Okay, so apparently if you have something that is in a different form, you can press F on some of these items, and if I hold down F and press left mouse button, it just puts the bag of soil on the ground. Okay, so one thing that you got to keep in mind here is, and you find this out as you go through certain things, you can over-farm, you can over-plant. And if you plant too many things in one area, the farm bots in the world will come and destroy your plants. So there's a weird calculation for how it all works. I have not been able to figure it out, but we're just not going to plant much, but we will go ahead and plant a few things here. And then we're going to dismantle a few things here because we'll need those pieces for building. All right, so we've got our farm plots out. So if we open up our inventory, where did all the seeds go that I picked up? I thought I picked up like several different kinds, but apparently it's just 2 different kinds. Okay, so right now I have... What is this? This is carrot seeds and tomato seeds. So we're going to go ahead and plant both of our carrot seeds And just to be on the safe side right now, we're only going to plant 4 of the tomato plants. And we've already got 2 buckets of water here. So if you come out here and you throw the bucket of water, it's good for watering 1 farm plot. And then you come back down here and you do the tedious work of refilling them. And that one actually got both of those, which is kind of cool. So throw that one out there, and I got 1 more to water yet. So let's fill this one up. I'm going to fill up the other bucket, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Let's go ahead and get this one watered and refill that bucket 1 more time. All right, so next thing you got to do for plants to make them grow is to fertilize them. We've got 13 uses of fertilizer here, and we've got 6 plants. So we're good for right now. So now they're fertilized. And by the way, the directions, they're right here. So you put down your soil, you plant your seed, you water it, you fertilize it, you wait, and it grows. So if you ever forget what order to do things in, it's right here. So you don't have to worry too much about it. All right, so 16 was awesome, 18 was good, 19 is amazing. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk 7 days a little bit more here. So if you came from the console world like I did, and like Untamed did as well, so you can see I'm dismantling this piece by piece. These are things that we can use to build other stuff later on. So always a good idea to go ahead and grab these things. If you pick something up that has other parts attached to it, this is kind of one of the cool things. So if I go like this, well, that didn't work. Usually it does pick up multiple pieces at once. You can make it do it. But if you came from the console world, you know that what you had on console was fun until you started to see it on PC. And so I went and finally got a PC that was able to play 7 days, and bought myself a copy of it just before Alpha 17 came out. And what ended up happening was I see you can draw to dismantle things too. I keep forgetting about that. But so I got it, and then Alpha 17 came out, and I was less than thrilled by it. And 7 days ended up sitting and not getting played much for quite a long time. Just before Alpha 18 came out, I forced myself to get back into it, and it was all right. It just wasn't what I was expecting it to be at that point. So, okay, so that fell off. But then when Alpha 18 came out, I mean, it just totally floored me how much better it was than anything else out there. So, so I was definitely happy when 18 came out, and 19 so far has just been fantastic. I mean, despite the fact that it's a beta right now, you're going to find bugs. I've found several bugs. I know several people who I've watched so far have found bugs, like Josh and like Dez and a few other folks. But by and large, it is still, even with bugs, is even better than Alpha 18 was, and Alpha 18 was great. So no complaints for me. All right, so we can head back over to our ship, but we do need more building supplies. You got a sledgehammer on you, so always experiment, see what you can whack and what you can get. All right, so if you look at this one, we can pick it up with the right mouse button, picks it up. That just carries it. We can go drag this over to our ship and put it down, but there's really not a whole lot that we can do. We can, with the Q button, we can stand it on end. I haven't been able to figure out if there's any value in doing that. But you see, if you hold down E here, it says refine. What this is basically doing is cutting this down into blocks that we can actually build with. It's annoying because it takes 20 swipes. So it takes about 10 seconds in game time. I don't know if you can upgrade things and make that faster or not. So now we've got a piece of wood that's still sitting here, 3 more hits or 2 more hits or however many it is. And we get this one down to a log as well. And if it stops rolling, we can refine it. Can we just get in its way? There we go. So let's refine this one. And you're not seeing this in the inventory right now because it's actually putting these into my backpack. But if you look in the inventory, let's go ahead and get all of this farming garbage out of here that we don't need right now. Let's keep the buckets down there now because we're going to need those in a minute. So right now we've picked up a bearing. We've got one scrap wheel. We've got a bunch of other pieces of things here that we can use. But we've got the stack of wood right here. And we picked up some wood throughout all of the stuff that we tore down over there. But each one of those boards that I refine gives me 10 more of these. I'm going to go ahead and put that here in my belt so that you can see. And when you knock down a tree, there's a cow wandering around up there. As far as I've been able to tell, they are harmless. I haven't gone up to one and whacked it in the head with a sledgehammer because I really don't want to find out. Not at this stage of the game. If it's going to turn into a raging bull and kill me. So, all right. So now we've got another one of these things. So it's rolling away from us. So let's try and stop it and get it refined. But you can see I got 111 pieces of wood right now. And as I refine this, now I've got 121. So this is the tedium of this game. It's the grinding part. It's the same thing that we have to go through in 7 days. I think we'll go ahead and do this for about another 15-20 minutes, and I'll show you just a few of the things that are in here. I want you to see the farm bots and everything, and then we're going to go ahead and get into creative and just start building something completely off the wall, completely crazy. So if you haven't thought of anything yet for me to build, keep thinking about it, and we'll figure something out. Otherwise, I'm going to build something like an Indy car or whatever, and let's build something really fast and powerful and still drivable, and maybe an off-road truck or something. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. But if you have any ideas, go ahead and drop them into chat, and we'll figure out which one we're going to go ahead and build here. All right, so let's see. Reading through the chat again. Let's see, invisible zombies. Invisible zombies. I don't remember any of that, but really the biggest thing that in Alpha 17, and this was just a personal preference at the time, in console, it's stuck at the point where you can loot the bodies. Every zombie, you can go ahead and loot them after you kill them. And then when Alpha 17 did away with that and started doing the loot drops instead, the occasional loot drops, and they were very, very rare in Alpha 17, that kind of annoyed me. But I got used to it eventually. All right, so I broke up the burning trees, and now I can pick up embers. And then you'll also see that there are a whole bunch of these things laying around out here. Like I said, if you see them, break them up. They will give you stuff. There are quite a lot of them laying around the spaceship here, or the aircraft, or whatever you want to call it. So definitely remember to pick these things up. And if we can get an engine, we won't be far from being able to build a vehicle soon. We've got 2 wheels, and if I can get one more wheel, then we can at least get a basic vehicle to drive around in. But there's something coming up here that's really kind of critical to the early game, or the early stages of the game here, and it's in that tower right there. But we're also going to meet our first enemies here pretty soon. Oops, apparently I just hit something that brought up chat. And I locked myself in walk mode. Any way I can break out of this? Hello. Let's just do this and come back in. I have no idea what I just hit. Hit something on the number pad. When I tried to go back and hit it again, I couldn't find it. So it looks awesome. I've been watching videos. Alpha 19 is Alpha 19 is absolutely incredible. And I've been saying all along that I feel like they're going to Alpha 19 is going to, what we see now is the bulk of what's going to end up as the gold version of the game. I know I've said it on here on the streams quite a few times because they're focused so heavily on artwork at this point and appearance that you usually don't do that until you're getting near the final stages. I said there was another bucket. It's right over here. So now we can have 3 buckets. I didn't show you what I was going to do with the water either. You don't have a flashlight. It doesn't really get a whole lot darker than this at night. But you can see up in the upper left corner, there is a clock up there. And that's running at a much faster speed than we're used to at 7 days. That's running at roughly a minute per second. So in 24 hours, you get 24 times 60, which I That requires math, and I'm not going to figure it out right now. Okay, it's less than 1800. I know that because it's less than 30 minutes. So you have a 24-minute day, essentially. I don't remember exactly the number of seconds on that. But you can see there's a thing walking around up there. That antenna is actually his weapon. So this is basically, this is the most basic enemy that you're going to meet in the game. And they take 3 whacks with the sledgehammer to destroy. And when you destroy the farm bots, you get some components, which makes sense. And now there's also these things laying around here, which basically they look like some kind of an articulated armor or whatever. But these are much like the other ones. You can refine them. And this gives you metal blocks that you can build with. So you'll see in a few minutes, though, how this is important and how you end up burning through resources fairly quickly. So gather everything you possibly can. I know in 7 days we're used to not gathering everything because you have limited space, but it's really important to gather these things. You do have hunger and thirst in here, by the way. So the yellow line down here is your hunger, the blue line down here is your thirst, and then the green line is your health. Health does regenerate. It regenerates pretty quickly, so it's clear that this game is not so much about the don't die at the hands of the farm bot as it is it's a survival game. Start building something rudimentary and work your way through the game until you're building something grand and colossal. That's more what it's about. So what we're going to do here is I'm kind of overloaded on stuff right now. I can grab this, but I can't grab that tomato because I don't have any tomatoes on me. And I'm going to need some extra slots here pretty soon. So what I'm going to do is go into my inventory and I'm going to swap out. What did I just do with that carrot? Did I just drop it? Yes, I did. It's down there on the ground. So now I go back in my inventory. And so this is another thing you're used to, just being able to drag and drop in a certain way. You have to drag and carry it the whole way to where you want it to go. Again, as a 7 days player, that's the sort of thing that just, you got to get used to it. So, but I'm going to go ahead and exit out of my inventory and eat this. You got to hold down the left mouse button to do it. And you can only eat things that are in your tool belt. You can't just eat it straight out of your backpack, which would be more convenient. And I'm just eating it just to demonstrate here, but you can see that filled up my hunger. Most vegetables also give you water as well, so that's pretty helpful. So I'm going to grab that tomato, and we're going to keep going a little further here. So if I come over this way, I've got another one of these things, and hopefully it's got stuff that I can stack. I've got that, and I've got that already. So, oh, I forgot that there was another one up here. All right, so what did you give me? You gave me a circuit board, and that's it. All right, another one of these things over here. And the next thing that I'm going to show, I've got a component kit already, and I don't think I have, yeah, maybe I do have red beet seeds. All right, so this is something that's not easy to figure out. There's nothing guiding you to it. The only way that I found out about it was by watching something on YouTube. This is the master battery. It's part of your ship, which you can see. This is part of your ship as well. You can pick that up. When I first tried picking it up, I was using E to pick things up because the stuff on the ground, it says use your right mouse button to pick it up, but you can use E and pick it up. But anything that you actually have to hold the thing down on, you have to hold down the right mouse button to pick it up. I didn't know that early on. Again, the documentation isn't entirely clear on it, so it definitely took a little bit of time to try and figure out how to do that, and I didn't figure it out until I watched the video, actually. So, but that video was immensely helpful. Glad somebody else was able to go there before me and figure it out. All right, so it is late. We're going to head back to our wreckage here, and fortunately, a couple of things. There's no map that I've been able to find. There's no way to see where you are, where you've been. Finding your ship, though, it should never be too terribly difficult because that smoke column rises pretty high up into the sky. So even at a fairly great distance, as long as it doesn't, undraw it, you should be able to find it pretty easily. So I haven't gotten far enough away from it for that to happen yet. But it's always helpful to have that beacon. All right, so I want to be able to use my ship. So take your water, throw it. And there's another one over here that we can put out, and we can go back over there and get more water as needed. So far there's nothing that I can do with any of this stuff up here, but you'll see this thing up here is going to be pretty important here soon. So it says requires power, so that's really your first and only hint that there's something of value there. And so apparently I don't have anywhere that I can put that right now in my inventory. So first, before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and drop off my farming supplies because I don't need them at the moment. Where's my fertilizer? There it is. There's my soil. And I'm going to, in here, just drop off these embers. Actually, no. Hang on to those. Put those seeds down. So all of my farming supplies now, I believe, are down. And I'm going to go ahead and take my battery here and put it right, where is it? It tells me where to put it right here. All right, so you see it's trying to tell me to do something here, and it's got these murals on the wall here to show you what you need to do. So in key parts of the game, it does give you this kind of assist, which is pretty helpful. But you put that battery in there, and what we get is our basic crafting unit is now available. So I can build some basic stuff here. And you can see the material cost down here. So this is, I believe this is the metal blocks and wood blocks and circuit boards. So if I want to build a vehicle, I need a driver's seat of some kind. And I need an engine of some kind. So I'm short on the metal pieces right now, so I can't build that. So I can't get a vehicle going at this point. But there's a few places nearby here where you can go and get more parts and stuff and break things down. So I don't necessarily think we're going to go ahead and get into that. But apparently I have to build the connect tool as well. So so that's even more metal that I need to be able to do that. And if we had that, we've got some bearings. I can make one more wheel here. Let's just go ahead and craft a wheel so that we have it, and then I can go ahead and stack up somewhere over here. I would be lost then without a map. And don't you get lost even with a map. Alright, so it's going to finish crafting this really quick, and you can only have one thing in the inventory at a time, I believe, so you have to collect it each time. So, but the thing is, I don't really have any use for these wheels yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and put all of my wheels just in a neat little stack right here. And like I said, you don't lose them, so you can always just come back to them. And apparently I thought I had 2 wheels and picked that other one up, and that gave me 3, but apparently not. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we can make a 3-wheeled vehicle if we needed to here. There are things that you can pick up right here as well. I'm not sure what this actually, oh, that's potatoes. And don't know what that is. And we can pick up cardboard. Some of these things actually require cardboard. There's toilet paper. I think these are mugs, so probably put them back over there. But yeah, it's cool how you can find these different things, and how you can put things down. Like right now, if I don't want to. Oh, there's the wheel. I never picked it up. That's what happened. So now I can swap that out with something else here. Where'd it go? Right there. And now I can stack that. And now I've got the pieces for my eventual car started right there. And I can just leave them there. So we are now back to daytime. I think it's the same kind of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. cycle here. And because I didn't over-farm over here, I didn't have any farm bot attacks. So basically they raid at midnight, and they will continue to come back and raid, apparently. Oh, maybe they did raid, and I didn't even know it. This is the other farm bot that I've run into so far, though. He takes 5 hits, and you can see he did hit me. If you look down there at my health bar, it is down, but it's going up pretty quick. So that's really interesting why those plants got destroyed, because it didn't tell me that I over-farmed, but they're not there anymore. So that's disappointing. Still trying to figure out that mechanic of it. Hopefully I can get that figured out fairly quickly. But really, like I said, for as much as I want to understand the survival mechanics of this, I'm an engineer. I want to go play in crafting in creative. So we're going to go ahead and do that shortly here. But I do have some more metal parts. I don't know if it was enough. And I believe actually there's another place to get a few more over this way. So we'll just see if we can get enough to build a car here really quick. And then we'll call it quits on this one. But you can take fall damage. You can fall a decent distance without getting hurt. But there's this ruin over here. If anybody watched my my first look at Among Trees, you can kind of see that this is like halfway between 7 Days and Among Trees. It's still kind of almost an abstract look to the environment. Cartoony, but not really. But it doesn't have kind of that same intentional beauty that Among Trees has. So interesting to see 3 different takes on the survival genre graphically and how drastically different they actually are. So here's another one of these things. So we'll go ahead and refine this. See, in real life, I have good sense of direction, but in games, the worst. In real life, my brother could get lost in his own bedroom. That's how bad his sense of direction is. You'll hear me mention him quite a lot on here. He and I are... Oops, didn't mean to do that. Refine it. Don't smack it with the hammer, Mike. Let's see, I figured, heck, Green Hill, you'll have to find map pieces. Talk about annoying. I have not played Green Hill yet. I played a little bit of the Forest. And I've got a few other survival games that I still plan on trying out and doing some videos on. Haven't gotten around to them yet because, well, I mean, 7 Days is 7 Days, and it's basically going to go down in history as one of the most epic games ever created, I think. Hey, look, another bucket. And yes, I do have room to pick it up. So now we have 4 buckets, and I'm going to go ahead and drop all of them off up there at the farming area. Let me see, is this what I think it is? Okay, I haven't figured out exactly how to use these yet. It's not what I thought it was. There are some flowers growing around. They're orange flowers. Is that one, or is that a robot? Yeah, that's a robot who wants to kill me. Let's go ahead and kill him instead. The only strategy that I've been able to figure out is to just engage them and start backing up. Don't whack it. Engage them and start backing up and swing as you back up. That's about the only way that I've found to avoid them. Those pitchforks do take quite a bit of damage out of you. They gouge a pretty good chunk in you. So I swear there was another arm. And it was, didn't I take him down over here? And it's gone. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and try and find it. But let's get back up the hill here, and I was saying that you can see the smoke column from a pretty good distance, and there you can see it right there. But there are these orange flowers that are growing around here, and they're called pigment flowers. And I assume that they're used in... There they are. So these, I assume, get used in conjunction with the paint tool. And hey, I never saw you coming. Saw that little guy over there, but I never saw you. Where's your arm? Did you leave me an arm? There's your face. All right, there we go. There's an arm. So we got that little guy running around over there, but he hasn't even spotted us yet because he's apparently as dumb as the brick he looks like. So, anyone here? Plasma Beam. Hey, how are you, buddy? Glad to see you. Glad you dropped in here. There's also corn here. You can pick this up. So it's really weird looking corn, but hey, it's food. So yeah, we can grab these things and then we'll head back over to our camp or our crashed aircraft and follow the yellow brick road. All right. Say, hey Plasma, I just started this tonight. I've been doing this for a whopping 30 minutes, I believe. So, we're just kind of walking through it to just showing them the initial stuff here. So yeah, this is as far as I've gotten into it, and I have a grand total of about 7 hours now in game. So not all that much. So I was going to leave the buckets over at the farming area, but for now, well, I guess I can't put them down. I thought I could put, but you can't put buckets down. All right, never mind then. I'll put the potatoes back down, and anything that I can just leave sitting here, I'll go ahead and put it down. What else do I have in my inventory? I've got food, I've got embers, so let's put those down there, and put these boxes down as well, just to clear out some space. But so the embers, you have to kind of stack on top of one another and just let them sit there. And then these crates, drop these, and a few more of them up here. Just like I said, just clearing out some inventory space so that we can move on here. All right. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not very far in here. So the mechanic shop, and straight down the dirt alley down the road, and then mechanic shop at Kamiga No Home. There's a master battery. I got actually to it. Is you talking about the place with the giant wrench sign above it? As far as the mechanic shop goes, I did see it in just one of my test run throughs the other day, but like I said, I haven't really put a whole lot of time into it. I just wanted to learn the basics of the game, just enough to show people who dropped into the stream how it all worked. But okay, so I said, well, we are missing an engine. Can I craft that yet? I can craft an engine, and I need to craft a driver's seat when I can, and possibly some more bearings. So hopefully we'll have enough stuff here. Let me check my inventory. I have 1 bearing, so yeah, I'm going to have to craft 3 more of those. Actually, 5 more of those. Yes, the giant wrench. Okay, cool. Thanks for the tip. If I end up doing more of these in turning this into a series of live streams of Scrap Mechanic, then that's a really helpful tip to know. So definitely appreciate that. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and just put the build out our base here that we were going to do. And now I can come back over here. This should be done. Grab the engine, craft the driver's seat, and bearings. I should have just enough to get all of the bearings crafted too. So we can actually build ourselves a vehicle here. So we're going to put the driver's seat there, and we'll do that. Did it do it? I didn't think it actually put them there. And I did not want to go into third person, so why can't I put that there? Oh, because I only have 1 left. I need more wood. All right. Well, let's go ahead and hack down a tree really quick. 10:45 right now. I think we'll give it just a little bit more time, just to see if I can get this car crafted. Come back here. I didn't mean to knock you over there. All right. See if we can get this car crafted, and then we'll go ahead and jump into creative mode. And a really good source of material is the scrap villages. You'll see them next to the road. Yeah, I actually saw those as well. I was wondering what those were for at first. But yeah, you can just dismantle all of the the little shops and everything, which is really cool. That was a really good find. Yeah, it's a big world, and I'd rather not have to walk around and face all of the farm bots constantly. So if I can build a vehicle early on, then that's pretty helpful. So, all right. So hey, Plasma, are you just out of curiosity? Are you subscribed to the channel already? All right, let's go ahead and drop these things here. Those will be our rear wheels. We've got our driver's seat. I need to craft a bunch of these. And I wish I could craft more than one at a time, but I can't. So, all right, those are going to be our rear wheels. Get our driver's seats and rotate that around. And we're going to go ahead and put that right there. And build that. And we'll put the motor right there. Build that there. And hey, I appreciate that, man. Always good to see new people here in the stream. And I don't normally do this on Friday nights. Normally I do my streams on Mondays. Oops, didn't put that there. Normally I do my streams on Mondays and had been Tuesdays. Now it's going to be Mondays and Wednesdays going forward. But it was kind of a weird week for me coming back from vacation. So I decided to go ahead and do a stream on a Friday night. So, all right. Go get this bearing. Get the next one crafting. And I keep walking into that fire. I hear one. Oh, no, that's my spaceship talking. That's right. Or whatever kind of ship it is. I keep hearing those, and I think it's a farm bot. And I love when those pop up when they're supposed to be hidden. It's always fun. All right. So let's get our steering bearings in place here. And back over here, get the next one. Collect you, craft another one. I'm hopeful that when you get further into this, those, let's go ahead and put our motor in place here too. I'm hopeful that when you get further into this, you can craft more than one thing at a time. Watch you on Tuesday. Are you streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays? I mean, are you seriously doing it then? Because I will absolutely drop in anytime I can. All right, put you there, put you there. Collect you, craft one more. And we'll put you right there. Let's see. And 2, 1, 0, we are good. And we had just enough material for it. That makes me happy. I didn't want to have to bail out of here before we got this crafted. So, all right. It ain't pretty. I got to go get my wheels. It ain't pretty, but it's ours. So, let's see here. I will put you and you and you and you and, well, get you back there. And now pick up my 4 wheels. It ain't pretty. It probably is going to roll like garbage. But we have what I hope will be a functional vehicle here. So put it back down. Grab that. Oh, I got to do the connect tool. Well, I don't have one yet, and I'm not going to sit here and collect the materials for it. But hey, we have a car. I just don't have the material for it yet. So, all right. So thank you very much for subscribing there, Plasma. I very much appreciate it. Let's see. We get more advanced. There's 2 types of engines that use no fuel. I've seen a few of the things about stuff that doesn't use fuel. I actually saw a video that somebody had posted not long ago, which was really what got me so curious about this that I had to go ahead and pick it up. So, cool. So let's see. Yes, 10 p.m. on Twitch. Doing a dang agility only build. It's killing me. All right. Well, hey, any chance I get, of course, you know I'm going to be out there supporting you, brother. So, all right. So we've gotten this far, and we are going to go ahead and exit. So we have a vehicle. I just have to build a connect tool so that I can actually hook up all of the different pieces here. So Does anybody have an idea for something that I can go ahead and build? I'm gonna use terrain. We're not gonna build on a flat space here. You kidding? All right, so V6A Creative 1. There we go. And let's change the caps on that because my OCD will not let me continue like that. All right. So I don't have any mods or anything installed here, but we'll go ahead and just use what we've got at this point. And yes, you can craft more than one thing at once. Most people make cars with refinery bots, resource crates, and chests with drills to refine rock they drilled on the spot. Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait to get further into this. A tanker copter. I don't know that I can do flying stuff. But oh, this is beautiful. Look at all the materials. Look at it. Would you just look? All right. So I have an unlimited number. Holy cow. This is way more in depth than I thought it was going to be. All right. We don't have any mods, so that's not going to be there. I don't think that I can do, unless there are wings or rotors, I don't think I can do a true flying vehicle. Let's see. I'd say Tank Man or a freaking A10. If I can find the wing, if I can find wing pieces in here, I would be more than happy to build an aircraft. I just don't know if they have that in the base game. They may have it as stuff in the in one of the mods, but I don't know that they've got it. There's fan blades. I wonder if that would work as a helicopter blade. I wonder. And there's a fan blade cap and a fan base. So I wonder if I could get these kind of like build ducted fans. I wonder if I could actually build a helicopter. It'd be really hard to control it though. Don't have any aerodynamic things. Okay. The A10 is awesome. The A10 is absolutely awesome. And they've been talking about replacing that thing over and over again, and they just keep coming back to it. And it's just, we got to keep the Warthog around. I know. Thunderbolt, it'll always be the Warthog to me. All right, so let's see. What can we go ahead and build here, though? So I got a windshield. How about we find a good place to go ahead and do this? This is weird. It's like half Earth and half Mars with the way that this looks like. It's got the Earth's atmosphere and Mars terrain down here. All right. Well, it's flat down here. I want to build some kind of like a rocket car, I think. So first things first, let's get our lift out. There we go. And let's see, they will never be able to replace the A10. Wasn't one of the variants of the F-35 supposed to do that, and they have given up on that plan as well? I'm sorry, the A10 is just absolutely awesome, and I'm going to divert over here into military talk just because I absolutely love military equipment. But the A10 is awesome. It is probably the only vehicle in the military collection, for lack of a better word, that was built as a container for a gun, pretty much. The thing's a freaking cannon with wings. All right, so let's build our metal here. Let's build a base to put our seat on. Is that metal or is that rock? It's concrete. I don't want concrete, not in a rocket car. Well, it might be helpful to actually have that in a rocket car, but we're not going to do it. I figure it might be helpful to have something nice and heavy on the base, but let's go ahead and do it. Let's just see how it holds up for us, because that'll give us, okay, so that's a good low center of gravity to build with it. Now let's look for metal. So blocks, we want, there's metal block 1, tile block, brick block, pathlight block, interesting, wood block, metal block 2. So there's a lot of different kind of blocks in here that kind of looks familiar to creative mode in 7 Days to Die. But let's just go ahead and can I just drop that up there? Yes, I can. Cool beans. All right. So now let's build up the outside here, but let's get a, let's rotate you and put you right there like that. And now let's build everything else out of metal. Let's kind of encapsulate this thing in metal so we can build sides. That's not where you were supposed to go. Q, there we go. All right. So that's why that's not working. Okay. If I leave it in that plane, then I can go the whole way around like that. But I do need to build a firewall here. And we want a fully enclosed cockpit, so we need to do that. And then here on the side, we can go like that. Do the same thing over on this side. All right. And again back here. Oops. That's why. Oh, now I just got to do it this way. All right. So we've got a basic cockpit here. So we had windows in here. So windshield. How big are these? That's the only problem. I don't know how big this is supposed to be. So we don't need another seat. And we'll worry about engines in a little while. I want to get both of these in here and just to see how big they are. All right, so you... Can I rotate? There we go. How about like that? Will you sit on there like this? No. How do I... Come on. Maybe I have to have it built up in the front here. All right, now can I get you to sit on there properly? Almost. Daggone it. No. It's kind of weird. It's the exact size that I need, but I can't get it to just sit on here properly. Okay, well, we'll worry about the windshield later on then. So I said rocket car, but this could very easily be a Formula 1 car right here. We just have to narrow this down here on the front. Let me build this all the way out here. All right. Do we have wedge blocks? So wedge, concave wedge, and a staircase wedge. What about ramp? Those are actual ramps. Okay. Incline. Nope. All right. So I build my cars out of concrete 3. It's good because it's heavy and durable. And it looks futuristic. I think if you want that to sit there, you need to glitch weld. I have no idea what glitch welding is. So if you can enlighten me, that would be helpful. Concrete 3, though. You said you made it out of concrete 3. I'm curious what that looks like now. Punched steel block. That actually looks pretty cool, too. That would be a fun one to have. I don't think that we can actually do like an angled piece on here, though, unless we fake it with something like something that has an angle but isn't really supposed to be that block. But maybe we can find something. So staircase wedge is probably too big. I mean, it looks like it would be something that's too big to fit there for what we're looking for. Get the staircase. Oh, it is a 1x1 wedge. Okay. Perfect. All right. So, see, this is why it's helpful to have a pro. Thank you. All right. So, Formula 1 car. If you're at all interested in racing, you know, they have a long, tall nose that then drops down fairly abruptly at the front. I am a lifelong auto racing fan, and I like anything that goes fast, pretty much. So I will always take advantage of an opportunity to do something like this. However, one problem. I don't think that I'm going to get the kind of power that I want using these little piddly gas engines that we've got. So what kind of engines do we have? We have the electric engine and the gas engine. So durability, buoyancy. Okay, I don't care about durability and buoyancy. Let's put it right there, and let's get 2 of them. And we're going to put these things right here. Oops. I always do that, like I said. Thank you, 7 days, for totally screwing me up on that. All right, we'll put you there, put you there. And glitch welding is basically if you can't fit something in an area because the blocks around it won't let it fit, glitch welding will make it. So basically you could put a block through another block. Okay. All right, and actually I don't want those like that. I want these back to back like this because I'm going to need to build out a small framework here for the wheels, and then I got to build something to support the wing on top. All right. Build you. I don't want you right there. I will build the wing up from here. Build it up from here. Yeah, there we go. All right, bearings. We want the wheels. It's Formula One car, so the wheels should be far back. And then up here, we're going to need to have something for these wheels to attach to right in this vicinity. Maybe here. All right. The only thing, though, is I want to use, because if you've seen Formula One cars, they've got really big fat, well, they don't now, I guess. They used to have really big fat rear wheels and then small front wheels, but I guess now they're even in size. So, whoops, did it again. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll leave it like this. But these wheels are just so tiny. I wish they were bigger. I mean, if I do wheel, there's only 2. And I don't want these big fat ones. So I guess we just have to go with these. But, all right. Well, we'll do it. Oops. There we go. So put that there. And not yet. Take you back and you back. And I want to build these out just a little further because the rear wheels do generally stick out a little further than the front wheels, side to side. All right, there we go. All right, and actually I don't need these down here because we got to build this out from up here, right about here for these suspension pieces. But let's see if we've got anything that looks a little bit more like a suspension piece. I mean, we have pipes and things like that that we can use here. So you can, let's see, you can get it as a mod or a vanilla. For vanilla, you need multiplayer to glitch weld. Interesting. And it's also really easy to get mods. All you have to do is find one you like and click subscribe. Then all you have to do is enable it. That's awesome. Are there paid mods as well, or are they all free? Let's see, there are big wheels you don't want. Okay. So let's see here. We want. Yeah. We use a wrapping paper roll for our suspension. There are actually, this is an interesting one on here. So there are suspensions. So I think we're actually, I've got enough engines. I don't need those anymore. So we're going to do a sport suspension on this now that I think about it. Because I do want to have something resembling suspension here. So we do have to have something to mount this onto. So we'll have to, but right now I'm just going to build this right here. just as blocks sticking off the side here. I know this kind of kills the Formula One aesthetic. Forgive me, but I just want to get something on here that I can get the suspension on right now. So we raise that up and we put this here. The problem is it's going to be way too far off the ground because we still have to put a block here to put a bearing on, unless we do the bearing up there, actually. I think I can do that, can I? Can't remember. No, I can't put it that way. There still has to be a block in between. So if the bearing went here, I did that, then I could put this right here, but you can see we're really high off the ground now, so it's going to be one wonky looking Formula One car. So, all right, well, we'll build around it. We'll make it work for now, and then we'll worry about it later on. All right. So put that there. This thing's going to drive like a tank right now. Oh, I wish the suspension pieces were a little smaller than that. Okay, well, we'll call this the Formula One half car. All right. Put our bearing up here. You're going to paint it afterwards. I have not actually even used the paint system in here before. So that's a good question. And the answer is sure, I'll go ahead and paint it. And we want this to look as authentic as possible, right? So if we're going to go for authentic looking, maybe I should use these big, fat, beefy wheels. There we go. Well, it'll be an oversized Formula One car. That's what we can do. How about that? We'll do this as a first draft, and then maybe next time we can come in here and tweak this and make it look more like an oversized Formula One. I think that's a good plan. All right, so I need to have that thing mounted one block higher than where it is. So bring that down. What in the world is that? Yep. Mount that there. There. All right. I think that is good. Put our shocks right here. Unless I can do these shocks as a horizontal mount shock, which I might be able to actually do that. I'll have to look into it. All right, we're not going to connect those at the back because I would want it to be an independent rear suspension. Otherwise, it's not a true Italian style sports car, which is what the Formula One cars are originally modeled to be. All right, well, we don't have a wing on it yet. It looks terrible. Let's bring that down. And we don't have a front wing either, but we can take care of that pretty quickly, actually. So I should have left it on the lift, but we can do it down here like this. All right. Bring that down to one more block. Can I do it? Well, let's just do it this way. That's not going to work. Q. There we go. Perfect. All right, and do that, and that, and that. Now we'll just have some wonky looking, we'll just call it a wonky looking rocket car. How's that? That's what we were originally going to build anyway, so gotta love it. Gotta love it. Haven't connected anything up yet, so it just kind of went all over the place on me. All right, so oops. Get rid of you. Actually, put you there, there, and there. And now put you there like that. You can see the suspension dipping down lower as we do this. Yes, that's correct right there. And we'll put that there like that. That there like that. All right, it is formula-ish. We'll go with that. All right. We got to put a rear wing on this thing, though. So, oops. Let me get up on here. There we go. So, put that there. Actually, I want to do this kind of this. There we go. And then build that up right there. That sucked. That's not what I wanted to do. Nor is that. Q. There we go. It's going to be the worst looking wing ever. But we'll, it's all I want for right now. I just want it to be drivable. Ah. And we'll build this out in the back, and we'll call it a sports car of some kind. There we go. Like I said, it's formula-ish. Good enough. We can lower it down to the ground another time. Connector tool. All right. We need you to power those. Oops. And we need you to steer these. All right. And I think we want... We'll make it an all-wheel drive engine, but we'll do front and back. Got to make sure that we get the power set the same on both of them. All right. Now we can jump right up here. And let me set these powers on both of these really quick. It should be heavy enough that it's not going to get away from us. Let's start there. All right. See if we have to go up or down from there. But decreasing power is for wimps. So, all right. It's, like I said, it's formula-ish. Good enough. So, and what did I tell you? I said this when I was walking everybody through this, that you have to do this, and I forgot to do it. All right, so there we go. All right, so let's see. Gas motors are better with turning. Basically, gas motors have speed and less torque. Electric motors have torque and less speed. So if you encounter turning issues, that might be a tip. All right. By the way, I'm not exactly sure why you might not encounter this issue. But sometimes if the back wheels have their own axles, each wheel and two-wheel drive, it tends to drift. I have noticed that well, we don't have nearly enough weight in the front, apparently. All right. So, what I can do is, for now, let's... No, how do I pick this engine up? Do I have to be on, I guess, on a block? Yeah, there we go. All right, we're going to kind of find a way to mount this engine here instead. We'll do that. All right. So if we can get this engine mounted up underneath here, do it just like that. It's not centered, though, I don't think. Let's see. Nope, it's not centered. So let's get this back up on the lift. And we'll shove the engine in some way under here like this. All right. So just like that. That's perfect. So that'll give us some more front weight and less rear weight. And so this is fun. If you put it down like this and then you take it off of the lift, it'll usually bounce up in the air. So let's see. Yep, just like that. Don't break. All right, get back on the lift. And you put it on the lift, it automatically rights itself, which is one of the coolest things. All right. Let's see. Use concrete 3. It's gray and blue with some glowing bits if you want weight. Okay. It might end up still having to put some more weight in the front, so I will definitely do that. All right, so let's get you off of here, and now let's connect you up so that you're connected to this. And you drive this, you drive this. We fix that. Those are all pointed the right direction. And let's set our power. And we're going to set it here. So you want to have the power, if you're going to do it set up like this, I found this out the hard way. You want to have the power even between the front and back, because what's going to happen is if you let off of the gas and the front isn't as fast as the back, it's like slamming on the brakes, and then the whole rear end tries to pitch up over. So it's just one of those things that you just find out as you dig into it. But all right, well, still don't have enough weight, but we will try and figure it out another time, a better way to do it. But hey, even with just the sport suspension, I at least got up the hill here. Not much of a rocket car, but not a bad first try either. There we I would love to see it. I would pay to see it. They're sitting on the starting grid at Monza. The light turns green. They take off, and the car at the front of the pack in P1 does a wheelie the whole way down the straightaway at Monza. I would pay to see it. All right. Hey, Kathy, thanks for stopping in. Great to see you. And hopefully we'll see you here on Monday. Actually, that was fun. This thing might drive better in reverse than it does forward. It's at least more interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure no Formula One car has ever done this stuff before. Of course, they probably haven't driven one off-road either. So, yeah, I made a giant truck and it had 4 gas engines at full power, 1 engine for each wheel. It's way too much power. I even had a refiner and a resource crate on it. Oh, and speed is bad when you turn. Whole truck flipped. I found that it seems like gravity doesn't really have much of an impact here. I mean, you're on another planet. There's no guarantee that this is Earth-like gravity, to be totally honest. So, but hey, this is fun. This is fun to drive around in. All right, it's not pretty. Oops, it's not pretty. It's not perfect, but it's ours, right? And now is a great time, actually, to back out of first person because you get a little elevation in your view. We'll call it the Formula-ish. Although there is a Formula E. There is an electric Formula One-ish kind of racing series out there, which is pretty cool. But, yeah, I think it fits the bill. Need a number on the front here and on the sides of the wing. We can actually extend the sides of this wing down a little bit if we want to and make it look a little more like a Formula One racer. Maybe that's a little too far back, but do this. Oops. Take that off of there. Grab that and do that. And then right here, draw that on. There we go. And to actually take those out, and we can put these wedge blocks in here, just like, not that. You shifted on me at the last second, Block. There we go, just like that. And that. Hey, that's not half bad. Not half bad. All right. Well, thank you, Plasma, for your help and for that compliment. All right, we're at 11:20 right now. Not gonna dig into another build here, but so I think we'll probably go ahead and just end the stream pretty soon here. But thank you all very much for coming out tonight and spending some time as we dug into a new game here. Plasma, most of us here are 7 Days to Die players, so we're doing a whole different kind of survival game. But this is a nice little diversion. It's a nice way to kind of see what else is out there as well. So this is a lot of fun. If you are interested in, if you have any interest whatsoever in engineering and that sort of thing, and you just want to build and see what you can create, this is a beautiful thing to do. A beautiful game to play. It actually reminds me, if you ever play, there's there's a Lego creator thing that you might still be able to download it, but you can actually build with Legos on your PC. And this reminds me a lot of that, except now I can actually play with the end result of it as well. So this is pretty cool. Let me know what you think in the comments here or out on Twitter if you had fun with this and you want to see more. If you want to see more of the survival mode, maybe I'll go ahead and start streaming this on one of the 2 stream days. I'm considering doing this on Wednesdays. But as for what's going to come up in the near future, that's all going to depend on the feedback that we get here. So yeah, leave some feedback here for me in the comments, or like I said, out on Twitter. Let me know if you want to see more of this, and if we get enough people to say yes, then we'll go ahead and keep playing it. So yes, Lego Digital Designer. I absolutely love that thing, and I can't even begin to imagine how many hours I literally wasted trying to build different things in that, from probably about 2007 to 2009. It was a lot of fun to just sit down in the evenings after the kids were in bed and start playing around with it. So yeah, give me your feedback and we'll go from there. Otherwise, on Monday, I'll be streaming 2 hours of 7 Days to Die. We're going to continue in Alpha 19 and continue on with the world that we just started. So we'll pick it up on day 3. So Plasma, okay, great. Thanks for the feedback. Look here again on Wednesday, see if we're doing more of it. Otherwise, if you're interested in looking at other games, 7 Days to Die, like I said, I'll be streaming that one on Monday. So until Monday, thank you all for joining me, and I will talk to you later. This is Vandal6Actual, out.